Yes, it's done. We're live. Thank you guys for joining us. For the ones that are already tuned in, for the ones who still have to come or watch it later. Also, welcome to this artist talk that UniArte is bringing you guys all the way from Curaçao and the Netherlands. Because Grootens is based now in the Netherlands, and I'm right here in the Caribbean, on the island of Curacao. Faizah, you have seen the posters, you've read some of her experience. She's a dancer, but I think this talk is all about her and she can explain it much better herself. So I will pass on the word to you. Thank you, Faisal, for taking the time to talk to us about your work. We're very excited and we hope that the audience also interacts at the end of your presentation. Anybody can comment, ask questions, and we will take also the time to answer some of your questions. Faisa, thank you.
Thank you, Shareli, for introducing me and making this possible. I appreciate it a lot. So, yes, my name is Faizah Grootens, and I am a choreographer, dancer, teacher, and movement director. Currently, I am working as a freelancer as a choreographer and dancer. And as a teacher, I am working at the University of the Arts in Amsterdam, Academie voor Theater en Dans. I was born and raised in Curaçao, and now I am based in Amsterdam. And because of my studies and work in different countries, such as Curaçao, Cuba, Mexico, and the Netherlands, I am very influenced by the various dance techniques and styles that I have learned and mastered throughout these years. I've been developing my own dance language for the last 10 years, which of course is always changing, because change is the only constant thing. And while prepping this talk, I was going through videos from when I was living in Curaçao up to now, and I can really see how my language has been developing throughout the years. And I think it has become more articulated, softer, and a bit more fleshy. As a choreographer and performer, I've been working with movements and initiations of Caribbean origin in a contemporary form. And this is something I will dive deeper into this coming year. More on that in a bit. Mastering the understanding of the body and the vessel I work with, which is my instrument, is very important to me. Characteristics of my dance language are vulnerability, use of the spine, use of polyrhythm and polycentric movement, physical touch, circular movements, partner work, and a raw human character. I believe that you can communicate with choreography, you can share, you can discuss themes, but you can above all stimulate your fellow human beings to feel. For me, art goes further than just showing, but it is mainly about giving new insights. In order to increase the possibility of sharing, I believe there must be inclusivity. And that is why I also believe that there should be a very good representation of the actual society on stage. Because otherwise the audience, the people that are looking at the art, cannot connect with the art that is portrayed to them and cannot, or they don't recognize themselves in the art. And then there's a disbalance. As an artist, I am always looking for relevance, for connection, listening, shaping of my view on what I want to talk about through art. This is a video of some of the work I have created. And now I chose a few works I want to highlight or talk about, where I was either an interpreter, so a dancer, or a choreographer, or both. It all started at Fina Dance Art School at the age of 3 years old. In this picture, you see me, this is me, and also my sister. I think this is the first show I did as a dancer. I think I was 3 or 4 years old, or I'm sure this was the first show I did with Fina Dance Art School. And here, This is also me. I remember very clearly rehearsing for these shows. I was a butterfly with all my other friends here. And it was a really nice period. I remember it very clearly. It's very funny how some things you remember so clearly. And after this show, we got the wings to go home with, and I would put them on at home and dance the whole day. Here, it's me and the team of Fina Dance Art School, the teachers Fina Ferreira, Melanie Sloot, and Saskia Jespers, who were the teachers back then, and some other friends and my sister. And you can see in this picture that I really admire Fina. Then I kept on dancing at Fina. I started with ballet at the age of 3, and I later went on to follow all the techniques given at the dance school. I also started choreographing with my friends at Fina Dance Art School, and I am very grateful for the trust that Fina gave us. We would spend hours in the studio, and she also gave us the chance to perform some of these pieces we created at the end of the year performances. This picture is actually not my own piece, but it was a solo Saskia Jespers created for me as part of the last show I would dance on the island with Fina Dance Art School. Then this is me in the Netherlands, because when I was 18 years old, of course, I had to start making a choice of what I would study. I was in VWO at the Radovus College, and we would go to these beurzen to see what study interests us. And I just couldn't find anything that really interested me. But I thought, well, you know what? I can study economy at Erasmus in Rotterdam. But then my mom started hinting me that she think I should pursue a career in dancing. And this, of course, wasn't common at the time at all on the island. So I kind of brushed that idea off. But later, I think she talked to my teachers about it, because Fina Freire and Saskia Jesper started talking to me also about the possibility of auditioning in the Netherlands. So they would take videos of me and send it to the people they knew in Holland. So I was kind of getting accustomed to the idea. And then I remember very clearly I was 18 years old, and I had a solo performance in a concert of a classical band. And after the show, Fina came backstage and talked to me and my mom. And I remember that in that moment, I decided, okay, I'm going to apply for this. I'm going to apply for the auditions. We'll just see what happens, but let's try this. And I'm very happy that, in the trust they gave me and the belief they had in me, because that's why I dared taking this step. And I never regretted it ever since. My teacher, Saskia, even came with me to Holland for these auditions. She took this picture. This was an audition at Artes in Arnhem. And after doing the auditions, which I was a bit overwhelmed of, because in that time we had dial-up internet and we couldn't go on internet a lot. And there weren't such good websites as now, so I didn't have any video reference. I didn't know what to expect in that sense, how people dance. I knew I would have a ballet class, but that's all I knew. But it was a nice experience. I made friends from that day already in the audition, who became my friends over the next 4 years. And I decided to attend the Amsterdamse Hogeschool voor de Kunsten after being accepted there, because that's also where I felt the most at home, and I've always been somebody who follows my intuition. Then I moved to Holland, living in Amsterdam, studying at the Amsterdamse Hogeschool voor de Kunsten. We got the chance, and as an assignment, to every year create a choreography with our classmates, or mostly for our classmates. So this picture in the middle is a picture of a piece I created in my second year for 5 of my classmates. Then the pictures above are solos I created, because later I went on creating solos, because as a freelancer, of course, you don't have that much. You don't always have subsidies, so you need money to pay dancers. So you rather just dance yourself to save money. So that's why I always started with solos. And the pictures here are of a solo, Cuerpo, I created especially for Felix de Roy for the book presentation Ego Documenta of Felix. Then in my 4th year, I went to study in Cuba. I did my stage, my practices there. I came to the Netherlands as an 18-year-old with my social dance skills and my academic dance styles that I learned at Fina Dance School in my backpack. And rhythm has always been in my body, rhythm that I could not ignore and where I felt and still feel safe to cross boundaries. In the Netherlands, I came in contact with many contemporary dance styles and techniques. Yet I missed my Caribbean roots in the contemporary work. So I wanted to bring together the Caribbean dance, my experiences in Caribbean dance, and Western academic dance. So I decided to move to Havana, Cuba. I studied at the Instituto Superior de Arte with many amazing teachers, and I had really, really nice classmates who I'm still in contact with. And I worked with the star dancer of Danza Contemporánea de Cuba, Luisa Santiesteban Castro. She danced many, many, many years, amazing roles in Danza Contemporánea de Cuba. And I worked almost every day with her. And she really got me to understand the Cuban technique. And she gave me the confidence to trust in my specific body and work with what I have. So the knowledge of my dancing body really grew because of what she gave me, what I got from Instituto Superior de Arte, and that combined with everything I learned before in the Netherlands at my education. Being in Cuba after living in Curaçao and the Netherlands made me reflect a lot on culture and habits in our daily life, but also within art. And it opened the door for me to understand myself and the people around me much better. The picture you see here is Las Ruinas del Isa. It's part of the building of Instituto Superior de Arte, but here is not where the classes are given. But it's a very, very beautiful building. And eventually I performed in that building, and that is this picture. Because in my first trimester in Cuba, Miguel Rubio, a Spanish multiple disciplinary artist, came to work with us, and he really came in the right moment in my life. I really learned a lot from him, and he really connected with us and used all the artistry that we could give him. So he really trusts us as artists. This is a dance theater site location piece danced in Las Ruinas del Isa in Havana, a creation by Miguel Rubio, as I said. And it's a very, very iconic place to perform in. We had live music and a big group of dancers, and we had so many impulses in such a good way, which obligated us to be super aware, alert, and available for each other as performers. Here you see some of the pictures. In the middle of the show, we had to throw paint on our body with goggles on, and later taking off the goggles to dance with a very big group on live music. This is the area we danced in. After this production, Miguel Rubio offered me to be his assistant in direction. And because of that, I stayed a longer period in Cuba than planned and worked on 3 other big productions with him as his assistant. Miguel made us do the most extravagant things and made us all value the endless possibilities of location site dance theater pieces. He's really opened my eyes in that sense, and we have created a very, very special bond as a team and support each other to this day. I graduated at AHK, the Amsterdamse Hogeschool voor de Kunsten, University of the Arts in Amsterdam, and Instituto Superior de Arte in 2010. Yes, Shareli, if you could please play Slapdash. In a bit, you will see a snippet of Slapdash, a solo that Maurice Causey created for me. I will let you see it and then I'll continue. Okay, so this is Slapdash, a little part of it, made by Maurice Causey. Maurice is a very, very well-known international choreographer working with contemporary and ballet companies all around the world. And this solo is physically one of the most demanding solos I did, and it really pushed me to another level of interpretation and exhalation. Maurice really made me realize through all the creations I was part of that he created, so working with him, how you can manage a rehearsal as pure fun and pure hard work together by appreciating the person you have in front of you and the artist he or she is, and really recognizing that person you are working with. So again, working with what you have. I mention this because these are working methods that I take with me ever since. These are some other few pictures of works I've done with Maurice Causey. This is Maurice Causey. It was very nice to perform with him also. It's a piece called Improvised Trio. We danced with Maurice, me, and Emmerich Oud, a French dancer that I've also worked a lot with. This is a part of a trio called Spasmodic. And here we are rehearsing, oops, that went too quick. We are rehearsing for, I think, Interlaced. One of the beauties of the dance world is that you build so many relationships, and we have become all very good friends. Now onto these pictures. These are works with Herman van Veen. I've been working with award-winning Dutch performing artist, writer, composer, musician, actor, Herman van Veen since 2011 as a choreographer and dancer. I have choreographed for a few theater shows in which I also danced and acted, and I choreographed TV performances for him and created a theater piece which we have been performing for the last 5 years now, on music that Herman composed especially for this piece. These pictures are during the first run we did of Stichting Julius Leeft, the creation I created. It's an interactive family performance that I created in collaboration with these performing artists, Hani Andari, Annerie van Loenen, and Quincy Ignacia, who is also a Judy Corso. And here are Gaëtan Boucher, Van Veen, and Herman van Veen talking to us and giving us feedback after the first run of Stichting Julius Leeft. We have been performing and giving workshops in relation to the performance in the Netherlands, Belgium, and Curaçao. We made some workshops in relation to the performance and child rights in collaboration with Lotz Foundation. So we give a show first to elementary school, and then we have 4 hours of workshops with them in relation to child rights to make them aware of their rights. And later we also do a small presentation. This is during a show in Curaçao. The show is interactive, so the children also dance and sing with us during the show. And this is Quincy giving a workshop to the students. This is during the solo of Speelzing Dance in rehearsal with Annerie van Loenen playing the violin. And the picture above is during a show. And in this show, we have less rules. Anything is possible. So if somebody comes on stage and wants to dance with us, we also let it happen and just improvise and work from there. There is also a CD of this show, which you can find on the streaming services called Dama Dama Dance. And there's actually a song called Faizah on it that Herman composed. So that was really special. Working with Herman really made me realize and value how important presence is and how important it is to put attention to your intention while performing. So to really be in the moment and experience everything as new every time. And also how to guide artists and dancers in this. So I really get a lot from working with Herman. Then if you can play the second video of Laleget Danza, Shareli, please. In 2013, I moved to Mexico to work with Laleget Danza under the direction of Diego Vasquez. We did a very big tour in Mexico, in Morelos, Municipio Morelos, and Mexico City. Diego Vasquez is a well-known Mexican choreographer, a beautiful dancer, and the director. He is currently the artistic director of his own company, Laleget Danza, for which I danced, and Taller Coreográfico de la UNAM. He has become a very, very dear friend of mine, but also an important partner and collaborator. He knows a lot about stage, costume, and light design, as you can see in this also, which are all important aspects of choreography to learn from. We have a very intuitive and natural way of working together. And since 2013, when I moved back to the Netherlands, but I kept working with Diego ever since. You will see more of that work in a bit. Thank you, Shareli. So, questioning identity. As I mentioned before, I am always looking for relevance, connection, listening, shaping of my view of what I want to talk about through art. And as a choreographer, I like to work with themes and stories related to identity. Questioning identity, questioning sense of belonging, questioning social codes, questioning male and female roles in social codes. They're all often my sources of inspiration, and I approach this in a very human way. I like to use references and gestures in my choreographies and leave it open to interpretation. Then we will go to the next video. Shareli, if you could please play video 3, teaser of the code. So these are some pictures of the coat. That was a teaser that we filmed as a preparation to promote the show. It was filmed by my friend, Naldrik Martes. And I'm going to go back above to explain the questioning identity. This was also a picture taken by Naldrik Martes during that day that we were filming the teaser. And these pictures we also used as promotion. And as I mentioned about the gestures and questioning identity, here I am, Diego is laying on me and I am supporting him and I take care of him. And that is also a way to play with the social codes of the female and the male energy. And here we are still dancing with the coats on, and here it's already away. We took them off. We took our comfort off. The coat is used as a metaphor of comfort, strength, and support, and it turns into a main character alongside Diego and I, and a coat that becomes a person itself for all that it might represent. I like to play with the social codes and also having not too much difference between the male and the female. At times, sometimes I do make the difference very clear, and sometimes I twist with it. That's why we also have the same coats on, designed by Diego Vasquez. And there's no difference in the design, so we're wearing exactly the same coats. This idea came while walking back home and having an image in my head of two dancers and a coat in the middle. The coat being the third person. I called Diego because I was living already in Amsterdam and Diego is living in Mexico. And I told him about my idea and he immediately was on board. I created this in 2018 in collaboration with Diego Vasquez, and we have been performing this since then around the Netherlands and Mexico. The coat was also performed in the prestigious Palacio de Bellas Artes in Mexico, and it's part of Laleget Danza's repertoire. So I really created this together with Diego for Laleget Danza. These are some other pictures of the coat. I think this is a performance in Palacio de Bellas Artes. Then we go on to Pendiente. The first picture is of Diego in a very big position, which I like. And the second is the last scene of the duet. This is improvisation during Pendiente of me. And you can hear the music by Raúl Maduro, a sound artist from Curaçao. Yes, so Pendiente is the first duet I created together with Diego Vasquez in 2015. We created this as an artist in residency program at Teatro Luna Blau in Curaçao. The original version was performed on a stage completely covered in sand, which you can see here. And Diego came with this idea when we were brainstorming at the beach at sunset on Curaçao. The idea to create this duet, Pendiente, was to talk about and share a story that the Caribbean and Latin American audience could relate to. So we chose a famous novel by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and it is a contemporary duet inspired by images, atmospheres, and moments of the famous novel of Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Crónica de una muerte anunciada. The choreography, without being narrative, speaks of a forbidding relationship, machismo, betrayal, etc. And it is a collaboration between Diego and I and Raúl Maduro. We started by creating solos for each other while Raúl was creating the music in sync, and then later on went to create the duet parts in a really very natural way, following each other's instincts. We both knew the novel very well, so we knew which characters we wanted to play with. We already built some characters by creating the solos for each other, and then for the duets, we also knew what atmosphere and what scenes we wanted to create. So it was a very intuitive, flowy, very natural way of working together. Pendiente has toured Curaçao, the Netherlands, Bratislava, and several important theaters around Mexico, such as the Palacio de Bellas Artes, which you can see here. It's really a beautiful building, and in one of the most important theaters of Latin America, and a prominent cultural center in Mexico City, where the most prominent artists perform. So it was really a dream come true to perform my work here, and also at international galas. So I'm very grateful to Diego and Laleget Danza for giving me the chance to present our work here. Then we move on to Cornered, a duet I created in 2019. I show these pictures. These pictures are taken by Rana Lane Photography at the Untitled Dance Festival. And I show these photos because of the intensity you see in the faces and the feeling that they portray in a kind of pure state of awareness towards each other and the space. I think they are quite raw, and it doesn't have to be pretty all the time. And this is also what I believe in. So I want pure senses, and every time it's different. So I have a set choreography, but within that, the artist has to give himself and just be in the moment and share what he or she has to feels at that moment. And as a choreographer, I appreciate body language. For me, it is very, very important that the performers are being present in the moment, that they are open to feel and receive new impulses. I like to talk about the sensitive skin in rehearsals and about the transition of weight, energy, and movement through the body towards the other. And then, I mean, the other person they are dancing with, but also the space and the audience. And it's all about the dynamic vibrations that grow out of the sharing. For me, it is important that the audience can also feel the process of the dancers and connect with them. And it's not just about following a beautiful sequence of movements. I really don't believe in that. I believe that you really should feel the essence of the artistry out of the dancers. To achieve this, I believe there is a necessity of physicality, but also sound wave vibrations. So music plays a very big role in my creations. I don't always start from music. Sometimes I create in silence, sometimes with a playlist of music I feel I am looking for, and sometimes specifically on the music for the piece. Before I start a creation, I always know the vibe and the sounds I am looking for in the music. I prefer working with originally composed music, but of course this is not always possible. But I've worked with two composers from Curaçao before, Raúl Maduro, as I mentioned just now, and Neldrik Martes. Neldrik created an original soundtrack for a piece I created in Mexico, which I will tell you more about in a bit. but he will also create the music for my newest piece, Corpus Criolla. And he took the pictures and filmed the teaser of the coat that you just saw now. So it's a very talented friend I have. Shareli, if you could please play the snippet of Cornered. So the first part of what you just saw, this is Justin Brown and Annemieke Moy dancing. Justin Brown is a dancer from Curaçao, and I created Cornered with them. And later, Emmerich Oud also joined the team. So the first part was a set choreography, and what Justin is doing now is a improvisation given in tasks. So I gave tasks to him to know in what field I want him to improvise. But every movement he chooses now is really his choice in that moment. And I always have a part of improvised pieces, an improvisation in my pieces. I never set the whole choreography. Always within a task, but still really an improvisation, because I feel that's when the artist connects with the space, the energy, the music, and the body the most. To really let state of awareness. This is during the Holland Dance Festival. And the film before was during the Untitled Festival. Yes, so in my daily life, I tend to analyze people's behaviors. And there was a period I was super intrigued by the sense of empathy, sympathy, and how everyone is so different in how they support each other and how they show it. So I wanted to research empathy and physicality. Cornered is a physical experience of two bodies encountering each other within the space and within themselves. I worked with Judy Corso, Justin Brown, and Annemieke Moy, and Emmerich Oud later joined in the place of Justin. I have been very pleased to work with these group of dancers. They're all very, very talented, and I'm very happy we've done this collaboration. This is a campaign image for a danceable festival for the Holland Dance Festival by Sasha Grootjans. And so as I said, we performed this at the Holland Dance Festival and the Enteros Festival. Then we have No Matter What. This picture is one of my favorite pictures ever taken of a choreography of mine. This is a picture by Paulo Garcia for No Matter What on Taller Coreográfico de la UNAM. In the summer of 2019, I was invited by the dance company Taller Coreográfico de la UNAM, led by Diego Vázquez, to create on the company. I chose to talk about migration. I think identity and culture is something that is always developing, due to the exchange that exists in the moment. And before creating No Matter What, I was reading a lot about migration, maybe a bit to understand identity better. So then I thought, you know what, why don't I use this as a source of inspiration for the piece? As I mentioned before, music plays a very big role in my creations. And this time it was very important. And because of that, I chose to work with my friend Neldrik Martis, also a Judy Corso. I love contemporary music with strings, contrabass, etc. But I'm also always longing for a rhythm that enters the body of the audience. And I love that music vibrates in the space and the public, the audience really feels the vibration, those sound waves. And to connect to my roots and feel at home in my creations, I always like to add something from Curaçao and or the Caribbean. And as we did with the soundtrack, then I will show some pictures because, as I said, I like to use gestures. And I'll just say what these pictures stand for me. In this picture, I see, this is what I call the piece, in the beautiful piece in chaos. The next one, this one, is looking for a way out, always finding a way out and making it worthwhile for yourself. And this one is solo during the performance. It was created for 10 dancers of the Coreográfico de la UNAM. And this was really my activism speech moment. And he's really talking with his body in this moment. Then Corpus Criolla. This is a new research I'm going to dive into the gestures and body language of the creolized body. I want to bring more Caribbean influences in the contemporary dance scene in the Netherlands, because we do have a shared history, and through my art, I want to create more awareness on this. I am doing this as an artist of Kip Republic, an agency that is building a stage for hidden stories in our society, led by Ira Kip, Ira Kip, and Anne van der Ven. I've been very blessed to work with this team, and I'm looking very forward to the research and production. So keep an eye out for this. So this is a glimpse of what I have done next to dancing and choreographing for films, teaching, rehearsal director, etc. To see a bit more of my work, you can always follow me on Instagram, Fi08, or go on my website. Although I must say I have to update my website more often. My website is faizahgrootens.com. And most importantly, what I want to share is that while living and working in various countries and learning the broad language of dance, I have experienced that dancing is a universal form of culture that can be used to bring people together by eliminating social barriers and fear. But for this, art must be inclusive. So the art shown must be a true representation of society so that everyone can connect and recognize themselves in the art portrayed. Fear is, I think, stimulated because it wants to exclude people. And I believe that fear is one of the major causes of the many problems we face today. So art can let people work together in all their freedom and creativity. And art is not only about the tangible you see in the moment, but it's about the change that happens within the artist, but most importantly, within the ones who come in contact with the art, so the audience. It provides new insights, new ways of structuring, and it gives you new insights to go on creatively with your life. And for those who want to pursue a career in art, I think it's very important to have mentors around you that can help you bring out the best of yourself. I found these in the artists I mentioned before, but also in Jocelyn Bergland, Gabri Christa, and John Leerdam, to name a few, who are by chance all from Curaçao. Thank you very much for listening. The pictures shown are by Paulo Garcia, Carlos Quesada, Rona Lane Photography, Sasha Grootjans, Brett Russell, Melle Meijvogel, Alexander van der Linden, Nadrek Martis, Wiekes Photography, Ping Huang, Mario de Lara, and Kirk Klaas. And some in the earlier years, I don't know who took them, so I couldn't credit them. Thank you very much. That was it.
Nice. And with close attention to your presentation, you can really see that you're a very dedicated dancer, Faizah.
Thank you.
Everything that you've done so far. I think this is a moment to announce that if there are some audience looking, watching, if you have some questions, we can definitely, show them. And for instance, I have a Dalton Janssen that says, Faizah, keep on shining. You are the dancing star.
Yes.
From Curaçao. So
Dalton is also somebody we should all have keep an eye out of him. He's going to be the next big choreographer, or he is already a big choreographer.
So I think it's very important in these artist talks. What usually we do on location on the island is leave the artists have the opportunity to kind of explain their practice, because oftentimes in your case it would be in a theater room that you would be sitting and watching the performance, but there's so much time, energy spent, and it's really, really, really important for people, also the audience that sees the end product, to kind of understand the work and dedication that's being put in, and also the trajectory. I think while we wait, hopefully some people have questions. I have a question for you, because you mentioned that you are not only a dancer, you also are a choreographer, which I can imagine that has some differences, either being a choreographer by itself or a dancer by itself, or being able to do both, and how that influences your work as well. I don't know if you can tell us a bit more about that.
Yes, I think choreography is something you should really want to do. And I think dancing, of course, also, because it's like full-time from young on. But I think it should also be in you, that you want to tell stories and give vision to the way you look at life or whatever. And I think I've been doing this since I was a child. I would every day put on music in my room, and every single day I would make a new dance phrase. Now, making dance phrases is not choreography, because choreography is dance phrases, the light, the music, the composition, everything around it. So that's choreography. But I think it was something that was always in me, something I always wanted to do. And because I got the chance in school to do this from day one, in my first year, at the department, they really asked us to start forming our vision. So it was something that was always present, and it wasn't even a question. But I do also like to just be in dienst van de choreograaf. Dus that I do like that sometimes I can say, okay, and now I am a dancer. I don't have to think about anything. I am here and I can think with you, but you tell me what I do, I think further, and I just give you my art. And it's also nice sometimes to have that and just learn from other people and search within your body for the ideas that the other person wants you to explore. But being both does take more organization and more time. But I think it's also almost a necessity in the times we are living in to also create your own work if you want to be able to have work all the time as a freelancer.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we all know.
Yeah.
Very indeed.
Yeah, because of the subsidy cuts and everything, there's much, like when I moved to Holland, there were so many companies. And when I graduated, like for my feeling, already half of them disappeared because of subsidy cuts. So, and you don't fit in all companies also. So yeah, I think if you want to really create work that you really want to talk about, then you should create it yourself.
Yeah.
Or
No,
find people that have the same vision as you. That's awesome.
that's a very valid point in creating your own stage or space as well for you to kind of vocifera or like to voice the things that you find important.
Yeah.
I think one thing that like I cannot help but asking is the transition because you said you started learning ballet and then you moved to the Netherlands and of course the Caribbean influence still is very much present in your work.
Mm-hmm.
But by moving, what while already being accepted at the school, and what was some of the things that you can remember that was different from your dance formation on the Caribbean? So you were talking about the references that you didn't have them, but at the moment that you were dancing there, I
Yeah.
can imagine, was there a difference for you in the beginning?
I think it's because on an island you have the same teachers and you're giving, and they gave you a lot of like, I think Fina and the team of Fina Dance Art School really prepared us very well in giving us as much as possible information of the techniques, the different contemporary techniques. And she also taught us about the history of contemporary techniques, got a good basis of ballet and also all the jazz techniques. When I moved to Holland, what I saw was that it was much looser, much more release techniques, much more less informen, less formed. That's what I really found. But I was also studying at the docent dance department, so they were already transitioning to a less codified. So, for instance, Martha Graham is codified technique. Ballet is a codified technique. They were already transitioning to stijl overstijgend, transcultural dance education, to have less codified techniques and to create a multiple body that can adapt to all dance styles. So I was right in the transition of that. And there were also, we then started working with École de Sable from Germaine Cogny from Senegal. So they would come with Germaine and a team of École de Sable would come and teach us contemporary African techniques. So I was given quite a lot in my department in Holland, dance department. But I think in the Caribbean, we fuse things in a very specific way in the body and very natural, I think. And in that time, this Caribbean influence wasn't as present. And I was really missing the temperament, the circular forms, the syncopation in the beat. Yeah, that's what I was missing. But that's also more a part of the folklore and the social dancing that I got from home.
Okay. Okay. No, very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I have questions to go. I will just have once more. So this is a call out for the ones who are watching. My last question has to do with it's amazing to see how much you collaborate with several artists or creatives, not only in dance, but I'm coming from film, so there we always work also with a crew. But in your case, you all also use dancers, sound designers, like musicians. So it's a quite collaborative way of working. Yeah, how can you talk about? Yeah, you already talk about it, but why do you think that's so important, or what is the added value?
I think you have to do what you're good at. To make great art, you have to do what you're good at and collaborate with people who are good in what you're looking for. So, as a freelancer in the beginning, I choreographed. I either I didn't make my own music because I wasn't. I actually want to try and start doing that, but I would just choose a song and see if I could use it. And and I would do my own lights, and I would do my own costume design. And I still have to do that quite often because of funding. You don't have the money to pay everyone to do this for you. But if this possibility is given to you, I think it's very smart to work with people who are in line with your vision, and do what they are good at. And then you fill each other up, because it's always a collaboration. And you don't grow alone, you grow with the people around you. And also, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to create a good piece. Kind of. You can also do it all yourself, but then you really have to be a genius.
And that takes, even that they take practice and time, and I get more inspiration as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Faizah, thank you a lot. I would like to also extend the invitation for our next talk, because there you will also be online with us again, with Alidia Waver and Clara Reyes from St. Martin. And there, from the intention is to really go about talking more about that, maybe that Caribbean influence or the transitioning of the styles, of the contemporary styles. Both Alidia and Clara also have immense experience, and I think it's also very interesting to speak to many generations, because oftentimes we don't, as youngsters, to call us youngsters still, we don't get the opportunity to really have dance conversations with the people who have been dancing maybe even before us. So I think this is a beautiful opportunity, and also each one of you are in different islands. So please, the ones who are watching, join us also for that talk. And Faizah, I wish you a lot of luck in your career and with your Corpus Criolla that you're currently developing, and we will definitely stay tuned to see more of your work.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this possibility, and creating a platform for us as artists.
Yeah, of course, sure thing. It's necessary.
See?
Space, just like you said, you have to create it yourself in order for you to sound out. Thank you.
Thank you. Ciao.